Thank you.
I have a fellow over here that has seated himself to the left of Tom. His name is Bev Brown from Carthage, or Carthage, as you might want to call it. Carthage. Is that the way you say it? Carthage? But anyway, he came to Carthage by way of Kilgore, where he entered radio at KOCA. Later, he was able to buy KGAS in Carthage. He has served on the National Association of Broadcasters Radio Board as president of the Texas Association of Broadcasters and is the recipient of the yearly Pioneer Award. He talks to the Potpourri Sound Booth about how radio has evolved. And he's here with us today to elaborate on this, and I suppose your question would be, in a town the size of Carthage, you have to be a little bit to everybody, not just the merchants, but the listeners and the churches and you name it. Is that about right, Beth?
Very nearly accurate, yeah.
Go ahead. Don't stop there.
Is this thing still on? Thank you, Tony. I can describe how you operate a small market radio station. You ever seen a one-man band? That's what you are. You're a salesman, you're an announcer, you're an engineer, you're a public pusher, and all like that. Say the guy went down the depot every day at 3:30 to watch the train go through, because it was the only thing that went through town he didn't have to push. I got into radio, and I was tailor-made for radio. I quote my friend Tom Perriman, who's older than I am, incidentally. He'll be 84 next month, I'll be 84 in August. I can say truly that Tom described me perfectly for radio. I was too lazy to work and too nervous to steal. You guys talking about the wonderful things you've done, and you have. I'd have to talk about mistakes if I was going to do it. I got to tell you this. I was running the board one afternoon, and it was a popular music segment. We broke down in the country and then popular and so forth. Nelson Riddle had a new recording out on Capitol, beautiful thing, called Lisbon Antigua. And I presented it to my vast radio audience as Lisbon Antigua. So I hadn't even thought of that till I got to thinking. One of the things that we did, we were a daytime station, and one of the things that we did was we were in the football. People call this the Bible Belt. We were the high school football belt too. And on out-of-town football games, we had a lot of people that did shift work in Pinole County. We had 7 natural gas refineries, and they either didn't get off, they had to go to work at 11, or they didn't get off too late to go to. Anyway, we would tape record the football games, all of them, and play them back on Saturday morning. The reason we did that was to make money, so we put a PA system on the town square and carried the game live on that PA system. And these people that did shift work and the fans that couldn't go to the games, or the ones that didn't want to, they would come up on the square and listen to the game and talk about when they played 20 years earlier and talk about other things. And, I didn't originate that idea. Jack Bell, who's down in the center now, I'm sorry, Jack couldn't be here. Jack started that with the Panola College football team in 1949 down there. But anyway, we had a lot of fun with that. I want to tell you this. My radio studios were upstairs on the square, and I came down one day. It was Christmas week. And I came down on the sidewalk, and there stood Jim Reeves. Jim was from there, and I walked up, and we were talking and visiting, and I said, Jim, would you like to come upstairs and wish everybody a Merry Christmas? And he said, yeah, would that be all right? I said, you sure would. So we went upstairs, I introduced him. Jim got on the air, said he was glad to be back home. Of course, he was kin to everybody east of the Sabine River, and he was going to wish them all a Merry Christmas and all like that. And when we got through, we walked back down, and he said, I really need to make some investments and all. Would you be interested in selling this radio station? And I said, no, I wouldn't, Jim. But I understand that your old station, KGRI in Henderson, is for sale. It's a rumor, but you might check on that. And the next thing I knew, he and Tom had KGRI in Henderson.
Put the FM on there.
Yeah, you sure did. Well, aren't you in the Country Music Hall of Fame?
Disc jockey.
Yeah. He's still learning. He's working on it. He's a work in progress. We had a lot of fun. I did one other thing I'd like to tell Tony. Tony, I don't want to take too much time. You said 20 minutes, didn't you? When I first got in the radio business, I didn't know any more about radio than I did jet airplanes. And I decided that the way for me to learn something about radio was talk to other people in the radio business. So I got the broadcasting yearbook out, and I sent a postcard to every broadcaster in that book in Northeast Texas, and said, meet me at Johnny Casey's restaurant in Longview, Texas, on this Saturday night for a Dutch dinner to talk radio. And I came up here that evening and asked Johnny, I said, can we have a room back there? And he said, how many going to be? I said, there may be me, there may be 10, I don't know. And I went back there, and nearly everybody showed up. Tom was there, Tony was there. And we sat down, and we started talking radio. And we called ourselves Northeast Texas Broadcasters. We met, once a quarter? We had more fun lying to each other and telling more stories. And we formed a bond that is so close, so very, very close. I could spell out the names of those who were there. So many of them are gone. But East Texas radio is a marvelous, marvelous thing. And I'm sorry that so many communities have lost the radio station that did the community public service like we did. We had to do it to get the license. We had to promise to do it to get a license.
Yeah.
And then at the end of the license period, you had to tell how much of it you'd done. Remember Mary Ellen making out all those darn reports?
Community ascertained.
That's right. So many, very, very few are doing it anymore. I'm proud that there are some in East Texas that still are, but it's a rare thing. Tony, it's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to see you. And I just want to know that, and let you know, I'm not the oldest person here, Tony.
Gosh, thank you, Bev. Bev has always been a longtime friend of mine, as so many in the broadcasting business have.